Hey everybody, welcome to Under the Arch Sports. I'm Eric Hobbs, and it's time to wonder, is the Cardinals pitching even worse than we feared? Before we dig into that, I need you guys to do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel and find us on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter. Yeah, so I felt like I could do this video after about 2 or 3 games, but I wanted to wait until every starter had 2 turns through the rotation. We've reached that point. As I'm filming this, the Cardinals are sitting here 3-7 after 10 games, and it's not pretty when you look at the pitching. First, let's not blame the offense. The offense batting .284 as a team, which is 3rd in baseball, 2nd in the National League. You know, they've got the 2nd fewest strikeouts. They have the, 3rd best on base percentage in baseball, 2nd in the National League. OPS is a little bit down. The only thing the offense is not doing is hitting home runs. But they're getting on base. They're scoring runs. So let's not pretend that that's a part of the issue. I don't think many were, but, you know. It's interesting. We're going to take kind of a deep dive here into some statistics, both as a team and individually, and it's not pretty. As a team, St. Louis Cardinals have an ERA of 4.97. That is 22nd in baseball. They are 28th in baseball in walks or hits per innings pitched, WHIP. Team WHIP is 1.59. That is the worst in the National League. St. Louis Cardinals pitching. Batting average against. Teams are batting in these 10 games .296 against the Cardinals. That is dead last in all of baseball. That is 20 points worse than the 29th place team. After that, it's fairly close. You take that same 20-point gap from second worst to the worst place Cardinals, that 20-point gap gets you up to 19th going the other direction. So the Cardinals are far and away the worst in terms of opponents' batting average. Now let's look at starters. It's not any prettier. First, you look at everybody's first time through the rotation. Miles Mikolas, 3 1/3 innings pitched. Jack Flaherty, 5 innings pitched. Jordan Montgomery, 5 innings pitched. Jake Woodford, 4 1/3. Matz, 5 1/3. It took till the 5th game of the season before any starter even saw the 6th inning. And no one made it out more than 5 1/3. That's not fair to the bullpen. And it helps explain a little bit of why the bullpen has had its shaky moments. As they're just getting asked to do too much. So that, for starters, has to get cleaned up. Now, you look at what they've done in these first 10 games. Miles Mikolas. Everybody's got 2 starts, so remember that as I read off these stats. First, let's look at Steven Matz. ERA after his 2 starts, 8.18. 11 innings pitched, 19 hits, 10 runs. A WHIP of an even 2. Batters are hitting .404 against him. Just atrocious. Jake Woodford, an ERA of 9. In 9 innings pitched, averaging a run an inning. 13 hits, 9 runs in those 9 innings. He's given up 4 home runs in those 9 innings. His WHIP, 1.89. Batters are hitting .342 against him. Some ways uglier than Matt's, some ways just a tiny bit less ugly. If you think I'm just picking on the back end of the rotation, those are the 4th and 5th starters. Let's take a look at the opening day starter, Miles Mikolas. 9 1/3 innings pitched. 19 hits, 10 runs. Same as Matt's. A WHIP of 2.14. And batters are hitting .413 against him. A bright spot being he's only given up 1 walk, but, I mean, my gosh. I think Mikolas' issue is he's just throwing everything in the middle of the plate. He's throwing strikes, but they're fat. They're getting too much of the plate. That's his biggest issue. And I think you see that with the 1 walk. He's not nibbling on the edges of the plate, which effective pitchers are on the black of the plate, the edges. That's where it's harder to hit. Now, it's not all doom and gloom. Jordan Montgomery. His first start was very pedestrian, but his second start was outstanding. You look at him, 2.25 is his ERA after 2 starts, 12 innings pitched, 9 hits, 3 runs, a whip of an even 1, which is great. And opponents are hitting 205 against him, also great. And then Jack Flaherty, everybody's favorite to talk about. What do you make of him so far? Again, he doesn't have the control. We knew that. The first start, just ridiculous. 5 innings, no hits, 7 walks. His ERA is 1.8 after 2 starts. 10 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 runs. 13 walks in those 2 starts to only 7 strikeouts. That right there explains why he's not getting deep into games, is he's not pitching to contact. And that's one thing if you're a strikeout pitcher, but you gotta throw strikes. And then his whip, 1.7, although teams are hitting just 133 against him. So, yeah, a mess as a rotation. If you're looking for bright spots with the rotation, there are some. One, I think everybody is more confused by Miles Mikolas and his 2 starts than anything else, because I think we trust that he's better than this. So I think people are waiting to see him go, 6 2/3, 2 earned runs or something. I think people are waiting for that and expecting it. Bright spot regarding Jake Woodford, he's not even supposed to be in there. So when Adam Wainwright gets back, I think that's his spot. It was always going to be Woodford unless he was just awesome, because money. Matz and Woodford, if they're pitching the same, Woodford goes because Matz is getting paid. So the front office ain't going to be happy about him getting yanked out of the rotation. Montgomery, hey, his last start, if he can replicate stuff like that, he's going to be fine. Flaherty, he's walking dudes, but he's not giving up runs. So there's bright spots, I guess. But through 10 games, it's been awful in the rotation. More with the Cardinals pitching, this time in the bullpen. Bit of a side note, honestly. It's time to end the Jordan Hicks experiment. Just because a guy can throw really, really hard does not mean he belongs in a major league roster. Jordan Hicks, 5 appearances, 5 innings, 8 hits, 6 runs, 10.80 ERA. Let's see here. A walk of 2.80. Teams are hitting 364 against him. 6 walks as well. He throws it hard, but no one knows where it's going. If it's in the strike zone, it's getting torched. So, Jordan Hicks, there was something about, is he going to be a starter? And he had comments about wanting to be a starter. That's comical. He is not a pitcher you can pitch in a high leverage situation. The Cardinals don't seem to understand that. And I don't know how long it's going to take before they give up on him. So what are the lessons that I think the Cardinals can take away? We talked about the optimism with the fact that Montgomery looked great, Flaherty is ugly but effective, and Wainwright will come back and that'll get rid of Woodford. So, lessons. 1, the Cardinals have to understand that they have made errors, putting too much faith in their own farm system and their own evaluation of guys. They let Jose Quintana walk, and he signed a 2-year, $26 million deal. I've mentioned it in other videos, and I think that was a disgraceful, foolish move, especially for a left-hander. And you said, the infamous statement, we have 6 pitchers. You included Dakota Hudson in that, and this spring training has to have been the final look at Dakota Hudson. And then they have to know he's not a starter in the major leagues. Maybe he can come back as a bullpen guy. I'm skeptical. But he's not a starter. He doesn't have the control. So the Cardinals have to understand that they need to revamp their approach to pitching. Miles Michaelis and Steven Matz are the only guys under contract out of this current starting rotation beyond this season. So if they're willing to spend money, there's an opportunity for them to completely revamp the rotation and with the offense be back to a 95 plus win team. But as this team is right now, I mean, you see 3-7, excuse me. I don't see it getting much better unless these starters just figure some things out. And honestly, with Woodford, I don't know that you're going to get much better. That is dependent on Wainwright getting healthy and being the Wainwright that we expect. So for right now, it's up to the Cardinals offense to just slug it out and just hang on for dear life while the rotation gets healthy and figures things out. Otherwise, this team might finish under 500 for the first time since 2007. That's a lot of doom and gloom, but hey, there's 152 games left as of me filming this. So there's plenty of time. Just gotta stay within striking distance early. That's all I've got for this video, guys. One final note, keep an eye out with Under the Irish Sports. We've got something pretty cool, I think, in the works. Something pretty special that you guys can be a part of. So keep an eye out for that. Until then, see you guys next time.